So please let me know if you can't see the slides in the presentation mode. Okay, it's the last page actually. Perfect. Okay. Um, please let me know if you can't see or if you have any issues with that in the chat box. Thank you. So, in this session, we want to talk about the community data program, what services and data sets are available through the program, and how you can find the data and use data in any kind of projects you want to use. We have infographics kind of products as well, like Tableau dashboards that we will go through it, and we have a live demonstration as well. And at the end, we have questions and answers for you. So starting with what is the Community Data Program or CDP? CDP is created in the mid-1990s by the Canadian Council on Social Development or CCSD to track poverty at the local level. In 2019, CDP was transitioned from CCSD to the Canadian Community Economic Development Network or CEDNet. The program focuses on acquiring data for a small area geography from data sources like Statistics Canada or CMHA. CDP now offers data products, analytical tools, and services that are unique to in Canada and exclusive to our CDP members. And the program at its core is really a model for sharing the cost of acquiring customized local data. We will, discuss this more with more details in a program priority areas. So we have three program kind of priority areas that we will go in detail. Community data access that we will talk about it, capacity building and training and networking. So the first service is access to data. The CDP is primarily a data cost sharing program where we work with our members to identify which data sets are the most important to them and purchase these datasets nationwide at the smallest geographic scales possible. So it can be municipal level, census division, census subdivision, in a neighborhood level when the data is available, like a dissemination area or census tracts, and also postal codes that are our kind of smallest possible geographic areas that we get the data. So this method eliminates the redundancy of ordering the same data sets multiple times from providers and instead shares the cost of ordering the dataset once, which overall leads to cost savings. So currently our data catalog holds over 1,500 credible data products that covers a diverse range of themes like housing, immigration, education, employment, income. That in the live demo that Michael will go through will show you how you can use the catalog and find your data with different themes on our website. The second priority area is training and capacity building. At the CDP, we do our best to support all skills levels by providing training, support tools, dashboards, and webinars for our members. So on the right of this screen, you will see the community recovery dashboard that's created in the response to the pandemic. And we have other dashboards as well that we will show you where you can find it and how you can access it, even if you don't have, the kind of Tableau software to work with. And so that's something like we also have a support in different levels, and some dashboards have tutorials to kind of, can be written or video tutorials to help people use them. And we are always available to answer questions related to these products for our members that we'll share at the end of this slide. You can reach out to us if you have any question. Um, so and also there is a Tableau reader that we will go through that you can download it and just view the dashboards if you want just to use it in the view mode and not working with them. But we are here to support our members in this area. And the third service we provide is cross-Canada networking. So on the map, you will see that we are not completely, but reached kind of, covered most of Canada. But we are always looking to expand, and our goals is to completely fill Canada in the future. We host annual meeting, learning, and networking events. This year, the event will take place in Edmonton, Alberta. We send newsletters that we provide the recent data sets available on our website and any other news like events or kind of upcoming webinars. And also, we share CDP members' data stories. That there is a section on our website that you can go and see how other CDP members use CDP data in their projects. Uh, we host webinars like this one today. And webinars are free for our members. They can kind of attend the webinar and ask their questions, which is a kind of, we try our best to make it interactive. So you can ask your questions during the webinars. Also, we record our webinars and then we post it on our webinar page. And that's kind of the networking services we provide for our members. So this slide talks about that how is the CDP structured. So the CDP operates as a consortium network. We have over 30 consortia, which in total has more than 400 member organizations, and kind of in total for all the organizations, we have over 2,500 registered individuals. So the consortia are typically geographic locations such as a province or a region within a province, and the member organizations of that consortia can be the nonprofit organization that fall within the region. Examples of the typical member organizations we have, the municipal governments, local United Way chapters, social planning councils, community health centers, school boards, police board, immigration and youth services, libraries, economic development agencies, and more. So that's all kind of depends on that kind of the member organizations will fall into that geographic area. And we will talk about that membership structure as well. The membership fees, if you want to be a CDP member as an organization, is that are structured in a top-down manner where consortiums pay the main fees, which are weighted by the population of that consortium. Member organizations pay an annual 150 fee and whichever fees their consortium requires. And individuals in the member organizations that we talked about, over 2,500, they can access the CDP services for free. This structure allows for an equal split of fees based on population so that both small communities and large communities can participate. It allows consortiums the freedom to recover these costs in whichever manner is most beneficial to their community. It allows individuals to gain quick fee it allows individuals to gain quick free access actually to the program. And finally, it allows the CDP to be financially sustainable, allowing its ability to continue to help communities into the future. And if you have any questions in this regard, so please feel free to post it in the chat box, or you can always kind of at the end ask us during the question and answers, or email us at our contact information we will share at the end of this webinar. So with that, I'm gonna pass the rest of this slides to Mike for the presentation.
How about, I think I can share my screen. Should be seeing my screen now?
Now, yes, yeah, I'll see that.
So I'm just going to run through just some of the tools that are available to members through the CDP, talk about the data catalog, go through the website, and as a lot of our data tables are available as IBT files that are opened with the software beyond 2020, I'll do a quick demonstration of that software. We'll also talk a little bit about Tableau and how you can use the data in GIS software like QGIS.
Mike, before going through the live demo, can I ask a question about the membership?
Yeah, for sure.
The question is, once we are members or part of a consortium, is there a limit on the amount of data we can order? That's the first question. And the second question is, can multiple people within the same agency order data?
I just want to make a distinction between ordering data and downloading data. We order data and we make it available through the catalog for our members to download. So, and then there's no limit on the amount of data that you can download from the catalog, and any number of people within an agency can have their own CDP account, which we actually prefer. We prefer that you not share an account within your organization for a few reasons, for security and so that you can agree to the terms and conditions. But this is sometimes, I just want to make the distinction because the program is not set up so that you give us your data orders and then we order it for you from StatsCan or other agencies. We do definitely want to hear what data you're interested in acquiring, what data you need. That helps to inform our acquisitions. And we have a data purchase and access working group through which we decide what we're going to get and set priorities for the year. But, we have a set budget, and, if someone was to propose a table to get this year, then we'd review it and, possibly in other years decide what other table from the list should be taken off that we wouldn't get. But in a year like this, things are a little bit more fluid, and we're definitely open to hearing what people are interested in. It doesn't mean we're necessarily going to turn around and order it. But we really like to hear, and a lot of our orders are informed by requests from our members. And I see another question here from Brampton. I don't know if my organization is paid up and in good standing. Contact information appears to be out of date. Why don't you contact us directly about that? usually, if you are not in good standing, then you know it because you go to download something and the site won't let you. That's one way to know, or we send you an email saying that your account is going to expire soon, and here are the different ways that you can pay your membership fee. But certainly, one good way to ask any question about the project is to email information@communitydata.ca, and that email will come up at the end of this presentation, or I can just put it into the yeah. And I get that email, and another one of my colleagues gets that email. Okay, so just continuing. Thanks for the questions. Uh, so I'll do a quick run through of what is offered and give a few live demonstrations. And there's a few slides here that are really more for reference when you look at them after. Let me just get this to change slides eventually. There we go. This is a little bit what the data catalog looks like. I'll go into that more later. Beyond 2020, a lot of our files are available in IVT format. This format is used for dissemination from Statistics Canada. It's mostly used with the census, and it's not exactly intuitive to use, but it is not at all difficult to learn in 1 or 2 minutes how it works. And using this saves the program money and makes it would be quite unwieldy if we got all the data that we got as flat files for us and for you. And some of you may even come to love this software as we do. Yeah, we get it because it's good for manipulating multi-dimensional tables. You can change your rows and columns. You can stack different dimensions how you want, and get it out of there. But it's weak in that it was designed in the 1990s when they thought that 2020 was a long way away, and it's just another software that you need to learn. You can download the installation program from our website. I'll show you where that is. But did we get? I think Sadie went over this a little bit. We try to get really whatever we can that is both available across the country and at the community level. So that Stats Canada is obviously one of our main providers, but not the only one. What we're weak on is anything that is under provincial domain. We don't really have the capacity to go and get data sets from the different provinces. So things like education or environment, health, that sort of thing. So when we purchase a data set, we want to get it for the entire country, and we want to get it at a geographic scale that's relevant to community level data practitioners. So we're always going for the smallest geographic level possible. So that's often, with the census, it's going to be dissemination area or census tract. But for other surveys, we may only be able to get at the census division or census subdivision. We try to get for some surveys that only are available down to the CMA level, see if they have data that we could get a custom order for at the census subdivision level. But that's our main focus. We get a lot of custom data. That's really our niche. There's a lot of free data out there. What we are acquiring are the data sets that are not free. So custom cross tabulations, things like target group profiles, but we also get custom boundaries. So you can, for the census, you can give us your custom boundaries, like a service area, a ward, um, something like that, either as a shapefile or a description of how it's built from other standard geographies, and then we will get that geocoded so that we can get tables produced for those boundaries. We get it's not everything we get at those boundaries, but we get a subset of the census tables, our more popular census tables for custom boundaries. And it's never too early. We are in a census year, and it's definitely not too early to start talking to us about how to do that and sending us your custom boundaries. We also, where it's relevant for the municipal or community scale, we provide links to open data in the catalog and some information there on the type of formats that you'll find the data in. This is a little refresher on Statistics Canada geography. I talk a lot about census subdivision data, or CSD. That's representing a municipality. Census division is like your county or region, which has some administrative significance in a number of provinces. In other provinces, it doesn't. You can review this census tracts, census metropolitan area. I'll leave this. I won't talk about that here, but if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Can I just see what it says in the chat?
Yeah, we have one question about data.
As StatsCan continues to modernize its delivery infrastructure, what is the 5-year outlook for IVT format? Is the agency committed to maintaining this format, or should users anticipate a transition to a different standard? I think that they would love to get away from it. But I mean, the last couple census cycles, at least, and maybe before, they've been talking about trying to get away from it, but without really any success. It is quite an efficient way to disseminate data. It unfortunately is proprietary, so they would like to get something that they own, and they are looking into other options. There was this SDMX format that they were looking at, but it's not the sort of thing that they can send out files in this format to their clients. This is the sort of thing that they can offer through their website, where you can, they can have APIs that allow accessing this. But as far as what we are going to be getting, certainly for this upcoming census, and very likely for the next one, although 5 years in technology scale at this rate could change things drastically, but there's just a good chance that we'll be dealing with this for the next couple of censuses. I'll just run through the highlights of data that is available through the CDP. Sometimes I go into a lot of detail here, but maybe it's best if I just brush over some of these. And if you have any particular questions about some of them, I'm happy to go into detail. But it's just good, I figure, if we're giving an orientation, that you get a good sense of the wide variety of data that we have. Obviously, we get a lot of data from the census. That's one of it's our largest budget line, and even into next year, the data are getting old, but there still is demand from our members for census data, because there's nothing really that can replace the richness of that data set. And then as we come to the end of the census cycle, people want to have something to benchmark against for the next, for, be able to compare 2021 to 2026 data. We also get a lot of tax filer data, the T1 family file. This is useful just because it's an annual data set, and it has there's some details on it later in this presentation. Canadian business counts is another very popular data set describing business locations and establishments down to the census tract level, and it's you can aggregate the data by industry type and the number of employees. Postal code conversion file is another very popular file. It allows taking postal codes and mapping them to census geographies. So if your data in your organization are mapped to addresses and postal codes, then this lets you take those data and organize them into census geographies, and you can then compare your data to the census data. A couple of longitudinal data sets here. The immigration database tracks cohorts, immigrant cohorts, tracks economic outcomes and mobility. And the longitudinal administrative data bank. There's a lot I think you can do with this. The tables that we get focus mainly on low income dynamics. So how long people stay in low income, and entry rates and exit rates and things like that. Building permits. This year we got data from TransUnion again. We hadn't gotten it since 2019. We have a more forgiving data license with them now. It was quite strict before, but you can publish limited amounts of the raw data, of the data that we're given. There's limits to that, but then the data that we transform, we roll this up into census tracts and census subdivisions and census divisions, and that once it's transformed, you can do what you want with it. So I see there's a question. Sadie, why don't you just let me know if I should answer it here or we can answer it later. We get sort of intercensal and postcensal population estimates. It's just worth noting that as of this year, you can't get the CSD postcensal population estimates by age. Some health surveys, health survey on children and youth, and the Canadian Community Health Survey, Canadian Survey on Disability, internet use, index of multiple deprivation. We just roll that up from it's available at the DA level, but we roll it up into a higher level of geography. What is new here, and I think very worth mentioning, are the labor force survey tables at census division and census subdivision. That's something that members have been asking for a while. It's only for a limited number of census divisions and census subdivisions, the larger ones where you're not going to get a lot of suppression. But this is new and took a while for us to be able to get these data at this level. But we also get the data so those are limited to larger census subdivisions and census divisions, but we do get labor force survey data for all the CMAs and economic regions, with a little bit of there's some combining of some of them just to get full coverage across the country. CMHC data. Occasionally we do some data experiments. So we got modeled estimates for average household liquid assets. There's other projects like that we've been considering, but we don't have anything on the works for this year. But again, your suggestions are always interesting, particularly in these sort of experimental data acquisitions. IRCC data on temporary and permanent residents. Uh, this one is something that IRCC doesn't have great capacity for producing as much data as we ask them for or what our members would like. So whatever you see in the catalog is unfortunately probably about as rich as it's going to get because we'll be uh, coming up with a more modest request from them because they've told us they just aren't able to produce what we ask them for, and we get employment insurance statistics at the CSD level.
We have a few questions
So yeah, I
if I
can
can
open up the chat.
ask. So there is a question in relation to available data themes, industry data. Can a province obtain the list of employers and their respective NAICS?
List of employees. You know, I don't. It's funny. I don't see that question in
Yeah,
my.
that was just
Um,
sent to my kind of
okay.
to myself.
Yes, I don't think that that's something we've tried to get like business location data, like point level data, and we've been told that that is, for confidentiality reasons, they wouldn't be able to give it to us. I think that's the sort of thing that some uh, private data suppliers can provide, but uh, usually they have a license that doesn't work well with our model of giving access to hundreds of different organizations. So when we've looked into things like that, we haven't had great success. Um,
Okay.
Canadian business points, the DMTI points. I'm sorry, I don't know what the Canadian business counts. Uh, I don't believe so. It's from the business register, and it's administrative data. Uh, Provides just establishment counts and location counts. We get it down to the census tract level, and again, it's disaggregated by industry type, so the NAICS classification and an employee size range. But I'm afraid I'm not familiar with DMTI points. Most recent year available for the CHSCY. I think that acronym is actually, people say cheesy, if you can believe it. I prefer Chesky. It's a nice bakery in Montreal. And CCHS. We have um, custom orders from 2023, I believe, for both of those. Uh, you know, Either of those surveys are going to have a minimum uh, 2-year turnover from so you won't get data from them from the survey until 2 years after the survey was was held. And that's true for a lot of StatsCan products. The CCHS, they have like some of their just summary indicators that you can get online. And this year, maybe uh, data from 2024 might be available, but I don't. As far as getting custom data, it'd be later this year. That only later this year that we'd be able to get custom data for 2024. So if we have something what we have in the catalog, the latest it would be is 2023. I should check that though. It may be 2022.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So if anyone wants to kind of explain their questions more, we have a Q&A session at the end that you can unmute your devices and speak to it. So I turn it back to you, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, we get a lot of data from the census, as you can imagine. A lot of what we get, um, are probably the most popular product that comes out of it for our members are these target group profiles. Actually, if you have the census profile, it's a summary of everything that the census asked. Uh, you can get that profile, but for a particular demographic group, like recent immigrants, or for particular age groups, or for racialized population, lone parents, that sort of thing. Um, Last cycle, we prepared a dashboard for each of the data releases. I'm not sure if we'll do that again. There was a lot of demand, but we were essentially taking the free data and turning it into a product. So there's just a question as to whether is that a good use of our time when maybe we should just be focusing on our niche, which is the paid products. The free data is out there for everyone. Uh, we might just focus on what we get, which is the not free data. These are just some examples of the types of tables that we get. Community poverty project tables, which cross tabulates different dimensions with all the various low income lines. Core housing need. Again, I spoke a bit about target group profiles, and then these are just some examples of the types of tables. Tax filer is of interest to a lot of our members. And again, it has a 2-year lag in publication, but they are working to change that. It's undergoing a big refresh this year, so we won't be getting 2024 data at the end of the summer as we usually do, because they are going to be coming out with a new T1 family file product that will be released in 2027. We'll get 2024 and 2025 data early in 2027. So they're improving the turnaround time for this data source because it's also quite a rich data set. It doesn't necessarily let you cross tabulate by a lot of different demographic dimensions, but you do get a lot on information on families, you know, age, income, number of children, and then obviously a lot of information on income and low income. They have the data available for postal geographies and for census geographies. We get pretty much all the standard tables that they provide, and a few custom tables as well. The custom ones, we have described here. We have a table that we get on the working poor, and tables on income inequality. So if those, if you want to compare income taken in by 80th percentile to the 20th, that's the sort of this data can help you do that. Let me just go to the site and give everyone a little tour. I'll try to do this. What are we at? It's 2:12. So I'll try to do this relatively quickly. The homepage has a fair bit of information that you can use, news and new data in the catalog, and some of our featured resources. A lot of this you can navigate and figure out on your own. What may be of interest to some of you is if you're interested in seeing more about your own consortium, then here's where you can see what consortia there are across the country. get a list of members. Uh, Otherwise, if you're interested in learning more about program governance or how to become a member, um, we have a lot of resources on the site, and I'll just highlight a few of the resources that we have. But I do encourage you to take a look and see what else we have. I'll look at the catalog. It's a nice way to see what we have in the data set. I'd like to point out this link for those of you who like to play in Excel. You can produce the contents of our catalog as not the data, but the metadata associated with it as a CSV file, which can be an efficient way of searching for some things. Tools for using the data. This is where you can download the Beyond 2020 installation program, and there's some guides on how to use it. I'll give a quick demonstration, but just so you know that if you need to, you can always find more information on how to use Beyond 2020 through resources on our site. I won't. I'll let you go through some of these on your own. For events and news, we have a newsletter. You can see the archives here, and we put community data news up. That's anything that we see that might be of interest to community level data practitioners. Sadie talked about our upcoming learning and networking events, but really one of the richest resources here is our list of webinars, because we record all of our webinars. We get a lot of interesting guests in. Besides, there's a lot of orientations that are recorded and put up here. If you want to learn about Beyond 2020, it's listed here, and some other general orientations. But for a deep dive into certain CDP products, you can find them all here. So we were talking about Canadian business counts. We get someone in from StatsCan to talk about it. Talk about the IMDb, the Longitudinal Immigration Database, PCCF, and then either our team or getting in some of our members or other experts coming and talk about how you can take the data and turn it into something even more useful is all under this transforming data into intelligence heading. And there's obviously some interesting things that people have done with our data, and a lot of it is described here. So I encourage you to go and take a look. We have a few things listed as portals. The immigration data portal, that's specifically for a group of local immigration partnerships. We had established this portal. And then everything that's in our catalog that is available as a Tableau infographic or dashboard is also available here, and just organized into these categories. But I'll let Sadie talk about that a little bit later. I'll quickly go over how to use the catalog now.
There is a question
Yeah.
that may be related to your demonstration, if it's okay if I ask here.
How to go to the map. I can't tell which map
Yeah.
it is, but with some kind of boundaries and provinces, is there a way to find data through map interface? Unfortunately, no. Um, but it's under About and CDP members. But no, unfortunately, we don't have a map. You can use the Tableau dashboards as a interactive map interface for certain data sets, but we don't have anything on the website. But a number of the maps have a number of the dashboards rather have a mapping interface in them. But yeah, if you're, this is as interactive as that map gets. Um, for the catalog, the landing page, it brings you here with a number of filters for searching the catalog, and then everything in the catalog is just provided in reverse chronological order. So newest products available at the top and continuing down. So you can search by just scrolling if you want. But it's often better to use the filters here. I'll go through what each of these does. I don't recommend that you use all of them. In fact, if the more filters you use, the narrower your results are going to be. It's best to start with as wide a search as you can, and then narrow it down is my suggestion. We have this topics menu where we've organized data sets into different topics, and it is helpful, but I don't necessarily suggest relying solely on this. This is, these are somewhat broad categories, and some of these data sets span different topics. The product group is, I think, a good place to start because it often gives us, you may have a sense of the type of data that you're looking for. So, here's your health survey. I am curious to see what the year was. I think it's 2023. Yeah. And within a filter, I can say I want something from Chesky or Cheesy, whatever you want to call it. And maybe I also want something from the census. If I start typing 2021, it's going to narrow things down. And there's a few different types of tables I can get from the census. So give me, tables that match this criteria and this criteria. But if I have multiple filters filled, if I say I want something from 2001, or let's take a sort of an odd number here, it won't match this or this. You won't find anything here because there's neither of these data sets has data from 2003. So the more your search has to agree with the results, have to fulfill all of these different filter criteria. That's why I would suggest that you not use as many, you use a minimum number of filters. The provider is, of interest, but a lot of things come from StatsCan. It's not going to really help you to put that in there. The title is looking for exact text matches in this field, so it's something in there. I know that the number 102 is part of a table, so sometimes I just put that in to find it quickly. Or home energy. I know we have some tables that deal with home energy spending, and so it finds those. Geographies, again, you're looking for the level of geography, so you can't enter your particular location. But unless you're looking for, you want to distinguish between tables that we have at custom geographies or tables that we have at standard geographies, this field doesn't help that much because almost everything we get we get at the census subdivision level, or we get at the census division level, and then we get an additional, we try to go lower than that. I use this generally for finding whether it's a custom geography or a standard geography, and then years within data and how many items are shown per page are somewhat self-evident, self-explanatory. So you would look and see what of your results match what you're interested in. You click on the title, view the catalog entry, and we encourage you to. I think I clicked on that. Encourage you to read the catalog entry because we put a lot of information in there about the data set. Sorry, just taking a. There we go. For example, when we get revised tables, I send out a note to those people that downloaded the table. But if you're seeing this the first time, then it's good to know that there has been a revision. Some of the information about the site. So, say this is what I was interested in. I would select the geographic level of interest. So, aggregate dissemination area, your census metropolitan area, census tracts, or province, territory, census division, census subdivision. Can add this here. Everything going so slowly. Maybe that's a good sign. It means that a lot of you are also on the website. And then you add it to the cart. We have a shopping cart model for our catalog. We've explored different options with different developers for a better way to do this, but we keep coming back to this one. It lets us easily provide you access and track and downloads, and then you check it out. Complete the checkout, and then it'll give you a link that you can download the data. If I click on this, it's going to let me download this file. It might be rather large, so it looks like I've already downloaded it once, but and so we can, it just appears as often as a zip file with a number of IVT files in there, usually separated by geographic region, because the tables that we're getting are, multi-dimensional tables can get pretty big pretty fast. I just kind of think if there's anything else I really need to show you about the catalog. I think that covers most of what you would need to know when you're looking for something. I guess if there's no questions about the catalog, then I would jump into a quick demonstration of Beyond 2020. I guess one thing to point out, you get that link to download your file after you've ordered it. But another way to get at the files that you've ordered, through the top menu, if you click on My Account, you end up at a page like this. And when you click on Files, then this will show all the files that you've downloaded are listed here. And you can also, change your username and password here, but that's most of what you need. I suppose one more to show you when looking at the website is how to create an account. Um, Let me just open this. A lot of you are here probably because you're already part of an organization in a data consortium, and so you would just use this link. I'm just going to open it in a incognito window because uh, if we open it, I have my admin account open, so and it's fairly self-explanatory. Just filling everything in. This may be less so. You have to search for what your um, city of is going to give you a bunch of different options, and then you choose your organization. You can't. It's not free text here, and then you have to agree to our terms and conditions of use. And this is one of the reasons why we ask that you not share an account, is so that that you individually agree to the terms and conditions of use. Uh, yeah, so I'll quickly give a Beyond 2020 demonstration if there's no questions to answer. How are we doing?
There is a question about Tableau that I'm going to go through that and explain
Great.
after your presentation.
Let me just open one of these. I didn't unzip this, and it usually opens fine, but uh, it's probably a good idea to unzip this. I have a couple of other ones open, and it opens in this sort of tile format. If you when you open it with other things there. Let me just get some of this Zoom stuff out of the way. This is what Beyond 2020 looks like. I guess, I want to stress again that this is a dissemination software. You can make charts in here. I don't really recommend it. The goal is to get your data into a format that you can take it out of here and put it into Excel or some other tool, whatever it is that you're working in. But you don't work in here. You can't change any values or do calculations or anything. Um, so this is a multi-dimensional table. Right now it's showing you uh, a few indicators here: home energy spending as a percentage of after-tax income, median energy uh, spending, average household size, that sort of thing, and some other indicators here: the count of owner and renter households that spend more than 15% of their after-tax income on fuel or between these different thresholds. But what you want to do is, you can take these. There's a lot of dragging and dropping in Beyond 2020, so I can click on this. And if I click on this and hold it and drag it down, then the highlighting is showing me where it's going to appear. And then if I let go, then it's just switched the rows and columns. I can do that back and forth. And then I can do that with other dimensions as well. I can drag this down to here, and now the current dimension will jump up to the top, and then this dimension, which is a mix of structural type of dwelling and period of construction and a few other indicators, all appear down here. So you can play around with it like this, but you can also start stacking dimensions. Say if I'm interested in a particular geography, and we'll go through searching for food geographies later, but if I click on Newfoundland and Labrador and then drag this back down, you can see that when the dimension jumps back up, it's showing Newfoundland and Labrador. You can change. That's one way to change it. You can just scroll through the different values for different dimensions. But if we want to say we're interested in uh, renter households, I can right click on this and select show, or when I do a couple of these, if I select owner and renter, right click on this and hit show, then it gets rid of all the other options and shows only those two. If I click on one of these, or right click on one of these and hit hide, then it hides that one. I can also just bring everything back. Can I bring everything back? I'm having a bit of trouble here. Let's mention show all. It brings everything back typically. So then we can start to take some of these dimensions and stack them. Besides bring it down, if I slip it into here, you can see that little line, and now this tenure dimension has appeared, and it's splitting the data by home energy spending and household tenure, and we can move these around like this, and lots of ways to play with the data. One way that a lot of people would obviously be interested in, this is I open the Maritimes file. So if I wanted to look for a geography in the Maritimes, then obviously you can just scroll through if you want, but you can search the data. It is important to note when you're searching the data, you get a lot of options for the different fields that you want to look in. I mean, the reason that they're doing that is because mainly the geography dimension, you have different labels here. This is showing you the name of the geography, but if I click on next label, it also gives the geographic levels. So this is a province. It's UID for Newfoundland. The unique identifier code for Newfoundland and Labrador is 10 or 10, and then all the census divisions in Newfoundland and Labrador start with 10, and then all the census subdivisions in this census division start with 1001. And so it's one way that you can search for geographies that you're interested in, or a bunch of geographies within, a bunch of census subdivisions within a census division, or uh, you know, I mean, a bunch of DAs within a census subdivision. This is a data quality indicator. This is just the geographic level. This is just the unique identifier. That's an index. And then the name again. So when I'm searching, I want to let's look for the English name, and it's going to reduce the list down based on this. So if we're looking for, St. John's or St. John, then I just type John, and then it's showing me everything that matches that text. So if I was interested in St. John's, then I can click on that and bring another dimension down. And now this table is being filtered for St. John's. You can do that with any of these. Right now, this table is being filtered for all renter households, but you can change that. You're showing it for subsidized housing. This is the total, all households or owner households. But yeah, you can play around with this, and if I right click and hit show all, it's going to bring everything back. Just say we're interested in Kings County on Prince Edward Island and Queens. I can hold down control and click multiple geographies. Say I want to compare this to the province as well, and then click on that. If I right click and then hit show, then I've got a few different geographies. I'll bring this bring this down, and then I could start stacking some geographies here. Maybe I'm only interested in the total and renters, so I'll get rid of those by right clicking and then hitting hide. So I could take this, highlight a bunch of cells, and hit Control C and Control V. It's gonna, sorry. Uh, but you can also take files and export them. So you want to save something as typically, if you're exporting something, I just save it as a CSV file. You can save it as an Excel worksheet, but you'll notice, again, this was made in the 90s, so this is the old Excel format. So if you're using something with a lot, you want to export a lot of data, um, the number of rows or columns that you can have is limited in the old format, and so it may give you some issues. But if I use CSV, it's also good to figure out where you're going to put it. The default is that it puts you in, drops your data in some weird directory. So I just go up to the highest level I can and go down to users. That's where you should start to see something that you recognize. You might, under user, you might see your name or something like that.
It's around 5 minutes
Okay,
for you, Mike.
thanks. Yeah, so that's then this will save it as a CSV file. I don't need to go through with that. I think that runs through most of what you would need to know with Beyond 2020. But just so you're aware, there is uh, under our webinars, we have webinars that can walk you through this. So why don't I leave that there? I'll stop sharing, and if you want to continue.
There's a question asking, when we create an account, do we get access to Beyond 2020 as well? I believe it's a desktop-based software.
I mean, everyone, it's free software. Why don't I put let me just put the installation file is at that link. It's also on our website under resources. I mean, it's also on the StatsCan website as well. It's open to anyone. Yeah, my pleasure. So I'll just let you continue with if you wanted to quickly go through Tableau, and if anyone has questions about the catalog or Beyond 2020 or any of the data sets, we can answer questions at the end, but feel free to contact me directly as well.
Okay, perfect. Um, so I'm going to share my screen for the rest of the presentation, which is the Tableau dashboards, and this is the just hiding this. So I'll go through the live demo of the two Tableau dashboards very quickly. I think we have 5 minutes would be enough for me. So the Tableau is that the data visualization and analysis platform we use. And that's the software for building and sharing interactive infographic and data tools. So our goal is to reach modest capacity users. And the dashboards we have, I will show you the kind of the example of that will cover all of Canada at varying levels of geography. And we also have a Tableau training and support for CDP members. So there are some strengths and weaknesses of a Tableau dashboard. Too easy to find data through drop-down menus. You can do the multi-dimensional analysis. So there are kind of intuitive graphics and design. But for at least viewing the dashboards, you need to download the Tableau Reader. I will go through that as well, but Tableau Readers is that it's free, but we realize that many organizations require IT permission. And the Tableau dashboard designed with varying degrees of complexity, which sometimes makes it kind of not user-friendly. But that's kind of the overview of the strengths and weaknesses that with the Tableau dashboard we are using. Michael showed you that there are two different kind of locations you can find it. We have a portal called Interactive Infographics and Dashboards, and the other one is the catalog that you can find data and data products like the Tableau dashboards. And for when you download it, the kind of the format is a package workbook and it can be opened to Tableau Reader. So you don't need to have a Tableau desktop and kind of purchase the license or something. You can download the Tableau Reader for free. So for a demo, I will share my screen first to show you the page here. So at the top, we have a portal, infographic portal, or you can go to the Find Data and search your dashboard. But I go to this one, the infographic and dashboard portal, and you can see all the dashboards here. I work through the kind of the simplest one, the like infographic, but interactive infographic. Um, kind of product, and then the other one, I go to the immigration and housing dashboard. So when you are in this kind of area, you want to click to download the dashboard from catalog. So it goes to the page here, and now if you created already an account, you can add it to the cart and download it. But also here you can download the Tableau Reader first if you haven't done it before. So you kind of will be directed to the Tableau website and you can download that kind of platform. So I will go to the one that I already opened here on Tableau Reader. And this is kind of for 2016 census. It's old, but just an example. So at the top, that's very simple. The level of geography you can choose. It's at the whole Canada, or as in the province, CMA, CA, CD, or CSD. So you can select Edmonton, for example, and you will see the information of the city in a CMA level, the sex, the age, and marital status, language, and employment, and all other information. And it will change as you change the geography to different cities. Does that change or no? Maybe I should reset that. Yes, it changed here. So I will change that. Yeah. So it will give you very quick information about that area you want to check. But we have a more comprehensive dashboard that have already opened it. The immigration and housing dashboards is based on the 2021 census data. And we usually, this is Tableau Reader. I open this kind of dashboard here. At the bottom, you will see different tabs. The welcome page that gives you an overview of the dashboards, and you can click to view the dashboards, or you can click on the different tabs that gives you a different kind of components of the dashboard. So I click on the view the dashboard page. And here at the top, you have some features to work with to see the kind of changes in that components of the dashboards. Here, it's about household distribution, census family household distribution, non-census family household distribution. We have a housing status, so I click on the tabs at the bottom, and education, language, labor, movers. And at the end of the last tab, we usually have data sources and notes that you can check the kind of original data source, that where the data come from, that we created this dashboard. It's Tableau Reader, so it's a view mode. You can do any edits or changes to the dashboard or see the backend. And there are some definitions and details about the data. But if I go to the labor income, for example, and then at the top, we have different features you can work with. So level of geography, um, if we change it to province, for example, and then going to BC, so gives us a different kind of information about the labor force status, work activity, income, low income status. And also you can, uh, play with the admission category and change so this is the economic immigrants, this is refugees, and then work with the immigration status and change it to, for example, 2000, 2010, and gives you some data. And at the end, so you can change the display. So it can be a percentage or it can be counts. And this is the same for other pages that you'll see that the same kind of selections we made for labor, it now applied to this page, and also the kind of language and education and housing and household distribution. So very quick overview of this, and we have a very short time. Uh, so I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint very quickly. So we have some kind of webinars, so you can check it out. Our recent webinar was about the Canadian Business Count dashboard that my colleague August went through the dashboard in detail and how you can work with the kind of recently published dashboard. Also, we have other webinars that you can check it out here. Very, briefly talk about QGIS. That's just, it's the open source mapping software. It's free to download. But good news is that you can use it to map your CDP data. So when you kind of get your data from CDP, you can use QGIS to map it. You just have to kind of join to a georeference file to map that. And we have an overview of how to do it and some tips that we went through that, and we realized these are great to help you. And this is kind of also, we leave it to you to check it out yourself, but this is also interactive slide. And we have a tutorial about how to bring data from the catalog on CDP website into QGIS and how you can get your spatial data file. You can check it out. And before going to the member survey and also then the Q&A, the webinar page Michael showed you where it is located. The recent recordings are available here, but you can always check it out the whole, since 2019 or even before. We have all the recordings. And if you haven't subscribed to a newsletter, please do. So we will send the upcoming webinars and around 2 to 3 weeks before each webinar we will send a promotional email so you can register and access to our webinar. And the final note, it's that the member survey we launched. So the purpose of this survey is will help us to shape the CDP 2027 to 2031 strategic plan. It's a very short survey, less than 10 minutes. It's a voluntary, there is no required questions in this survey. We want to reach our target, which is 200 survey responses. Right now, I think last night I checked it 92, now is 94. So please fill the survey. If you have already filled it, please share it with other CDP members. So you can find the link in this uh, slide. Also on our website, we have it on the first page. So we appreciate your input that will help us shape the strategic plan, which impact the future products and services we will provide for our CDP members in the next 5 years. So thank you so much for listening to this orientation. And the email that you can always reach out, information@communitydata.ca. Michael Leiter will receive that email, and another colleague, August and Suda, they will respond to your questions, any questions you have. And I'm going to stop sharing and see if you have any questions. We have around 5 minutes, but please feel free to add your questions to the chat box or unmute your devices and ask your questions, which are also very much welcomed. Okay.
I don't see any further questions.
We will stay for a couple of minutes here if anyone has any questions, but if not, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to stop recording and